Your morning decides everything. The moment you open your eyes, your life begins to move in a direction, either by design or by default. Most people wake up and immediately react to the world. They check their phones, they scroll through chaos, they absorb the noise of other people's lives before they've even aligned their own. And that is why they live in constant reaction instead of creation. The truth is, the way you start your morning determines how you live your day, and how you live your days determines how you live your life. Your morning is not just a time of day. It's a mindset. It's a mirror of what's happening inside your spirit. If your mornings are rushed, distracted, and unintentional, your entire life begins to reflect that same energy. But when your mornings are calm, grounded, and directed by purpose, everything else aligns with clarity and focus. You can't expect to have peace in your day when your first thoughts are filled with pressure and panic. You can't build a strong day on a shaky foundation. Before the world wakes up, there's a sacred silence, a divine space where you get to choose who you'll become that day. Most people don't realize that momentum begins before the world even starts moving. Winners don't just roll out of bed, they rise with intention. They understand that success is not built in the spotlight, it's built in the quiet moments when no one's watching. While others are sleeping, they're strengthening. While others are scrolling, they're growing. While others are complaining about their circumstances, they're creating new ones. What you think first thing in the morning sets the tone for everything that follows. The first thoughts that enter your mind are seeds. If you plant worry, you'll harvest stress. If you plant gratitude, you'll harvest peace. If you plant purpose, you'll harvest progress. That's why the first 5 minutes of your day are so powerful. They are spiritual real estate. You either build a fortress of faith or a prison of fear. Speak life before the world speaks fear. Declare who you are and what you will do before anyone else defines it for you. Hebrew discipline must come before desire. Everybody wants to feel motivated, but motivation is unreliable. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you rise to the level of your habits. The morning is the training ground for discipline. When you conquer yourself before sunrise, you become unstoppable after it. Every time you wake up and choose action over excuses, you build strength in your soul. It's not about perfection, it's about direction. You may not control how you feel when you wake up, but you can always control what you do next. That single decision to move forward despite emotion transforms ordinary people into extraordinary leaders. Your morning routine is not just a checklist of habits, it's a covenant with your future. Every choice you make in the morning either honors your destiny or delays it. When you pray, you align your spirit. When you move your body, you awaken your energy. When you plan your day, you give your mind a mission. Those small, consistent actions may seem insignificant today, but they reforming the foundation of the life you're asking God to bless. You cannot ask for abundance and live in disorder. You cannot pray for clarity and start your day in confusion. Your routine reveals your readiness for what you're asking for. Winning the morning means more than waking up early. It means waking up with intention, gratitude, and discipline. It means commanding your day instead of surrendering to it. When you win the morning, you win your emotions. When you win your emotions, you win your focus. When you win your focus, you win your results. And when you win your results, you win your life. So stop saying someday. Stop waiting for motivation to find you. Take authority over your mornings. Speak life. Move with purpose. Guard your mind like it's sacred territory, because it is. Before the world demands your attention, give your attention to what truly matters, because your morning isn't just a part of your day. Your morning is your day, and your day is your life in miniature. The way you handle the start determines how you'll handle the rest. If you want to change your life, don't start with your goals. Start with your mornings. Wake up with gratitude. Fill your mind with truth. Move your body. Speak your affirmations. Pray with conviction. Then step into the world knowing that no matter what comes your way, you've already won the first battle. Because when you command your morning, you command your destiny. And that's when your life begins to change. One powerful morning at a time. T-brew. The morning is the mirror of your mind. Before a single thing happens in your day, your morning reflects exactly where your thoughts, emotions, and focus are. If your mind is cluttered, your morning will be chaotic. If your mind is calm, your morning will flow with peace and direction. Most people think their morning is something that just happens to them, something they have to survive until they can finally get going. But in truth, your morning is a reflection of what's happening on the inside. When you wake up, the first thing that surfaces is your mindset. That's why people who carry stress to bed wake up already feeling behind. Their mornings start with anxiety, not clarity, because their inner world hasn't been managed. But when you go to sleep with gratitude and rise with intention, your morning mirrors peace and confidence. The external world simply reflects the internal world. If your mornings are full of hurry, noise, and distraction, it's a sign that your inner life is disorganized. But when you wake up in alignment, focused, grateful, and prepared, your outer world begins to respond to that same order. The morning is your moment of truth. It exposes what you truly believe about yourself and your life. Do you wake up expecting problems or expecting possibilities? Do you wake up overwhelmed or overjoyed? The difference lies in what you've trained your mind to look for. If you see every morning as another burden, it will feel heavy. But if you see every morning as a new beginning, it will feel powerful. The mirror will always reflect what you bring to it. This is why the most successful people treat their mornings like sacred time. They understand that if you want to fix your life, you start by fixing your morning. You don't need a new job, a new opportunity, or a new environment first. You need a renewed mind. When your thoughts are clear, your actions become precise. When your spirit is centered, your decisions align with your purpose. The morning doesn't lie, it simply reveals. If you want your mornings to change, you must first change your mindset. Decide that the first moments of your day belong to peace, not panic, to gratitude, not frustration, to creation, not reaction. The way you think in the first hour of your day sets the rhythm for everything that follows. So instead of letting the morning mirror chaos, let it mirror clarity. Instead of reflecting confusion, let it reflect conviction. Because when your mind is right, your morning will be right. And when your morning is right, everything else begins to fall into place. Hebrew momentum begins before the world wakes up. The quiet hours of the morning are not empty. They are sacred. They are the hidden space where champions are built, where clarity is born, and where power is gathered before it is displayed. Most people wait for the world to wake up before they start moving. They wait for noise, for energy, for something external to motivate them. But those who create extraordinary lives understand that real progress begins long before anyone sees it. Success doesn't start when the sun rises. It starts when you do. The early hours give you something the rest of the day can't. Silence. And in that silence, you can hear your own thoughts. You can hear your purpose speaking to you. You can connect with the voice of God without the interference of the world's opinions. Before the calls, before the notifications, before the demands, you have a window of time that belongs only to you. That's where momentum is built, not in noise, but in stillness. When you use that time to pray, plan, and prepare, you're not just getting ahead of your schedule, you're getting ahead of life. When you move early, you move with power. The world hasn't started rushing yet. The distractions haven't begun. You can think clearly, act deliberately, and build a rhythm of focus that carries into every hour that follows. Momentum is not about doing more. It's about doing the right things before the day begins demanding everything from you. Those first steps in the dark create a path for light to follow. Discipline in the early morning separates the average from the exceptional. While others are sleeping, you're strengthening. While others are hesitating, you're preparing. While others are wishing for opportunity, you're becoming the person who can handle it. Every morning you show up before the world wakes up, you're sending a message to your future. You saying, I'm ready. You're declaring that you will not be ruled by comfort, that you will not wait for perfect conditions, that you will take authority over your time. Hebrew momentum isn't built in public, it's built in private. The unseen effort, the quiet sacrifices, the early mornings, these are the moments that compound into massive success later on. When the world finally sees your results, they'll call it luck, but you'll know it was the morning grind that made it possible. Because those who move before the world moves, lead before the world follows, and those who rise before the world rises win before the world even begins. The first thoughts that enter your mind when you wake up have the power to shape your entire day. The moment your eyes open, your mind becomes fertile ground, ready to receive whatever seed you choose to plant. And whether you realize it or not, that seed determines the fruit your day will produce. First thoughts you entertain are fear, worry, or doubt. Your day begins under the weight of those emotions. But if your first thoughts are gratitude, confidence, and purpose, you set the tone for a day filled with strength and clarity. Most people don't guard their first thoughts. They let their emotions decide what kind of day it will be. They wake up and immediately think about problems, deadlines, and disappointments. They start their day reacting instead of creating. But the mind doesn't know what's real. It believes whatever you tell it first. That's why the first words you speak, the first images you visualize, and the first emotions you allow to surface are so powerful. They become the lens through which you experience everything else. The most successful and fulfilled people have learned to master their mornings by mastering their mindset. Before they touch their phones, they touch their thoughts. Before they let the world speak, they speak to themselves. They remind their minds who's in charge. They affirm what they're grateful for, what they're capable of, and what they're called to do, because they understand that the world will always try to distract, discourage, and derail, but if you've already spoken truth into your mind, no lie can take root. E. Brewer, your first thoughts are like a compass. They point your emotions, decisions, and actions in a specific direction. If you start your day thinking, I'm behind, your mind will look for proof of that all day. But if you start your day declaring, I'm blessed, I'm capable, I'm ready, your mind will filter the world through that belief. That's not wishful thinking. That's intentional living. You're programming your mind to attract what aligns with your purpose. So every morning, take control of that sacred moment before the noise begins. Don't let the world decide your mood. Don't let yesterday's failure shape today's mind. Set. The past is over and the future hasn't arrived yet. All that matters is the thought you choose right now, because the thought you choose will decide the kind of day you live. Choose strength over stress. Choose faith over fear. Discipline must come before desire, because desire alone will never build the life you want. Everyone wants success, but few are willing to do what success requires. Desire is the spark that starts the fire, but discipline is the fuel that keeps it burning when motivation fades. Feelings come and go, but discipline remains steady. The truth is, you will not always feel inspired. You won't always feel strong. You won't always feel ready. But discipline doesn't need feelings. It only needs a decision. Desire says, I want to. Discipline says, I will, even when I don't want to. That's the difference between people who talk about change and people who live it. Most people let emotion lead them, but emotion is inconsistent. One day it lifts you up, the next it lets you down. Discipline isn't emotional, it's spiritual. It's a covenant with yourself that says, I will show up no matter how I feel. When you train your mind to obey your principles instead of your emotions, you gain a level of power that very few ever experience. The most successful people in life aren't the most talented or the most motivated. They're the most disciplined. They do what needs to be done, whether or not they feel like doing it. They wake up early, they stay consistent, and they honor their commitments. Discipline is what turns a dream into a lifestyle. It's what transforms a wish into a result. You can pray for success. You can hope for change, but without discipline, you'll stay in the same place. Faith without works is dead, and vision without discipline is just a fantasy. When you choose discipline first, desire eventually follows. The more you act, the more momentum you create. The more consistent you are, the more motivated you feel. People think motivation creates action, but it's the other way around. Action creates motivation. Every small disciplined act builds self-respect, and that self-respect builds confidence. The moment you realize that discipline is love, love for your purpose, love for your future, you stop fighting it and start embracing it. You can't wait until you feel like doing the work. You must decide that you are the kind of person who follows through, regardless of emotion. Every time you honor that decision, you strengthen your spirit. Every time you push through resistance, you prove to yourself that you are greater than your excuses. And when you live with discipline, you stop living by chance and start living by choice. Desire might inspire you to start, but discipline is what ensures you finish. A. Brew, your morning routine is a covenant with your future. Every action you take when you wake up is either a declaration of commitment to your destiny or a quiet betrayal of it. The way you begin each day is a reflection of how seriously you take your purpose. You may not be able to control everything that happens during the day, but you can always control how you prepare for it. The morning is where you show heaven and earth that you are ready for what you've been asking for. When you wake up and start your day with intention, when you pray, reflect, move your body, and feed your mind, you are making a promise to your future self. You are saying, I will not waste what I've been given. But when you wake up distracted, rushed, and reactive, you're telling your future that it can wait. The truth is, success doesn't come to the most talented. It comes to those who consistently honor their calling through disciplined action. Your morning routine is not about checking off tasks. It's about building alignment between who you are now and who you are becoming. Every morning is a new opportunity to agree with your destiny. It's a chance to prepare your mind, body, and spirit for the greatness you're destined to walk into. When you pray, you align your spirit with purpose. When you read or reflect, you strengthen your mindset. When you exercise, you awaken your energy and confidence. When you plan your priorities, you take control of your day instead of letting your day control you. These small, intentional acts are seeds planted into the soil of your future. Over time, they grow into character, consistency, and confidence, the kind of qualities that sustain success. Many people pray for breakthrough while ignoring the habits that create it. They want abundance but live in disorder. They want peace but start their mornings in chaos. They want clarity but feed their minds confusion. The truth is, your morning will never lie to you. It will tell you whether you are preparing for elevation or procrastinating your purpose. Every morning, you prove through your routine whether you are ready for more. If you treat your morning like a burden, your future will feel like one too. But if you treat your morning like sacred time, your future will carry that same sacred energy. What you do when no one's watching determines what you'll have when everyone's watching. Your morning routine is your private rehearsal for your public success. Each prayer, each action, each act of discipline is your signature on the covenant you've made with your destiny. So keep that promise. Guard your mornings like treasure, because when you honor your morning routine, you are honoring the future you've been created to live. Win the morning, win the life. Every day begins as a blank page, and how you fill those first few lines determines the story that follows. When you command your morning, you set the rhythm, tone, and focus for everything that comes after. But when you surrender your morning to distraction, delay, and disorganization, the day begins to control you instead of you controlling it. The morning is not just the start of your day, it's the steering wheel of your life. Whoever owns your morning owns your direction. When you win the morning, you win your emotions. You begin the day with clarity instead of chaos. You choose faith instead of fear. You take authority over your thoughts before the world has a chance to plant confusion in your mind. A strong morning gives you emotional stability because you've already aligned your heart with purpose before facing any challenge. You've already decided who you are, what you stand for, and what you will accomplish. So no matter what happens, you're not reacting. You're responding from a place of strength. Winning the morning also means winning your focus. The world will compete for your attention from the moment you open your eyes. Messages, notifications, opinions, and distractions are designed to steal your time and dilute your energy. But when you begin your day with intentional focus on your goals, your growth, and your gratitude, you build an invisible shield around your mind. You stop chasing noise and start pursuing meaning. You stop moving aimlessly and start advancing strategically. Every morning gives you two choices. You can drift through the day or you can drive it. You can wake up and repeat yesterday, or you can rise and create tomorrow. The difference is in the discipline to do what matters most before the world even asks for your attention. A winning morning isn't about perfection. It's about preparation. It's about aligning your mind, your spirit, and your energy so that whatever comes your way, you're already ahead of it. When you win your morning consistently, you begin to notice something powerful. You stop living in survival mode and start living in success mode. You stop waiting for good days to happen and start creating them. You stop hoping for change and start becoming the change. Because winning the morning isn't just about getting up early. It's about rising with purpose, moving with discipline, and living with intention. Every great transformation begins with a single morning you decided to take seriously. Every dream realized started with a moment of commitment before sunrise. So if you want to change your life, start where life begins, at the beginning of your day. Don't let another morning slip away to distraction or delay. Wake up, show up, and take control. Because when you win the morning, you win your focus. When you win your focus, you win your day. And when you win your day, you win your life. Your morning is not just a routine, it's the foundation of your entire life. Every sunrise is a fresh invitation from God to begin again, to realign, to recommit, and to rise stronger than you were yesterday. The way you treat those early hours determines the kind of person you become and the kind of future you create. If your mornings are disciplined, your life will be directed. If your mornings are chaotic, your life will feel confused. You can't build greatness on a lazy start. You can't expect peace from a disordered beginning. Each day, you have the power to decide whether you'll live by intention or by impulse. Will you start your morning with purpose, or will you let the noise of the world decide your direction? Will you fill your mind with gratitude and vision, or with distraction and worry? Those choices might seem small, but they're the building blocks of destiny, because your morning shapes your mindset, and your mindset shapes your life. If you want to see your future change, start by changing how you wake up. Choose discipline over delay, clarity over confusion, peace over panic, and action over excuses. Treat every morning like a sacred meeting between who you are and who you're becoming. Speak life, move with purpose, and prepare for greatness before the world even stirs. Because the truth is simple. Your morning decides everything. Win your morning and you win your emotions. Win your emotions and you win your focus. Win your focus and you win your life. Each sunrise is your reminder that you've been given another chance, not to start over, but to start better. So rise with intention, move with conviction, and let every morning declare that your destiny is worth the discipline.